Well, I got another one for y'all. This one is by special request. I have been asked to tell this one for a while. My bad. So, this one is about this guy. I'm going to say his name. He goes by the name of Scott. Now, what we called him, that we worked with him, we called him Ham and Cheese. That's a whole nother story how he got the name. So, one day, we're in the office. Me, like three other coworkers, and Ham and Cheese. Ham and Cheese is what we would call a lazy guy. So we was all sitting there, and supervisor was like, "I need to get some measurements on the container down there." So it was a trailer, all right. So the coordinator on shift was like, "All right, I'll get somebody to do it." So he was like, "Scott," he's like, "You ain't doing nothing. I need you to go down there and get the measurements for the container." Said we need to know the width of it, not even the length, just the width of a container. Right now, I don't mean a container like what you store stuff in, but like a trailer. You know, like almost like a trailer, like somebody might would live in type of container. So you know it's not too wide. So he heads down to the other end of the yard to go get the measurements. It's a good way to get him out the office, get him away from us. Now, it shouldn't have took no more than 30 minutes. 30 minutes goes by, 40 minutes go by, an hour. Not uncommon. He could be out there running his mouth or whatever. Almost 2 hours go by. Now we need the measurements. So the boss man called him on the radio and said, "Hey guy, where you at? We need the measurements." He was like, "Oh, I'm coming now. I was just right outside. I was smoking." All right, whatever. So the guy shows up. He comes in there, and he was like, "Yeah, I got the measurements." So then the guy comes in there with the so-called measurements. Now, first we was like, "Well, what did you use to measure?" Because he didn't have no measurement tape or nothing. And the guy was like, "Oh, I used a 550 cord." Now, for those of you who don't know, 550 cord is all it is. It's string, right? So he said he used a 550 cord to get the measurements. In theory, I guess you could do that. Now, again, know about how wide a trailer is. So this is what he does. So he hands he hands the 550 cord over to the supervisor. The supervisor's like, "All right, what's this?" Like, "Where's the measurements at?" So he handed it back to him. And the guy was like, "Oh, here it is right here." So he takes the tip, and he had put knots in the 550 cord. And there was a knot like right here. And he was like, "This is it right here." Now the dude is like 5'5", 280 pounds. It was barely wider than him. So everybody looked at him, we chuckled. He's like, "Dude, that can't be the width of the trailer." "Yes, it is. I measured it." "Dude, that's impossible. That's barely wider than you." And he's holding it to his body. So he's arguing. He's like, "I'm telling you, this is it." So he's like, "It can't be it." So he was like, "Well, bet it." So the boss man said, "I bet you $100 that ain't it." "I bet it." So we like, "Oh, we gotta go see this." So we all go down to the other end of the yard. We already know the outcome. But this guy is adamant. "I'm telling you, that's how wide it was." Alright, bro. Then show us. So we get down to the trailer. So the supervisor was like, well, look, I'll help you out. I'll hold this end to the end of the trailer, and then you pull it out to where the notch was at. He's like, all right, bet. He walk up, the boss man hold it. He pulls the string, and it stopped. It barely got 2 feet from the edge of the trailer to the middle of the trailer. So my man, he's looking. He did like this. He said, "Huh." So we both start laughing. It's like, bro, how did you think that was went to the trailer? He was like, no, I put a knot in it. I know I measured it. It's like, maybe you did, but bro, that was barely the width of your body. So he's like, I know I did it. So he pulls, and then he keeps pulling, and there's another notch that he did tie on the end of the 550 cord that reached the end of the trailer. But how do you confuse probably a good, I don't know, 10, 12 feet from a foot and a half? Barely the width of your body? I'll never know. And I'm done.